Welcome to OAA Now, your home for Oakland Activities Association news and information. Here's your host, Sammy Taramina.
Welcome to OAA Now. Here I'm Sammy Taramina, blog around the OAA, the host of the last three brain cells, host Queen Tamina's on Orion Television. I'd like to welcome those watching on the local voice on SoundCloud and those watching on Orion Television. We got three coaches to talk to this week. We're going to start our traditional talking to football coaches during the summer, starting off with the coach of the Red Hawks, Coach Tom Cook. Coach, thank you for calling in this week.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
When you look at last year for Troy Athens, it was it was up and down. Recap last year for me in your eyes.
We struggled to finish games. We were close in a lot of games. We had some tough losses that happened in the fourth quarter, and so we're looking to remedy that with a strong senior group this year.
And when you look at this group, I think the biggest story you and I talked about last week when we texted one another was your offense. I mean, obviously, last year your offense, you only scored 115 points last year. You're changing coordinators. So talk about your new offensive coordinator and what he's going to bring to this team.
Yeah, we're happy to have Coach Mosier back. Coach Mosier and I, we coached together here at Athens kind of a different lifetime ago. And then, I was always hopeful that we'd get back together at some point, and kind of the stars aligned and we were able to make that happen this year. But he's a very creative and very intelligent football coach. We felt like we needed a change, like you said. The points just weren't enough for us last year, and so Coach Moj is going to help us fix that a little bit, bringing in a new offensive system. And I can't say enough about him, how he's worked with the kids so far this summer. The kids have really responded, and I'm hopeful for good things from our offense this year.
And when you look at this offense, obviously, it starts with your star, and your star is Mr. Nathan Piggott. Of course, going to Eastern Michigan next year, playing tight end. Maybe could see some time at wide receiver. So, talk about the development of Sir Nathan Piggott.
Yeah, it'll be great to have Nathan back full time this year. We started the season without him last year. We played 5 games without him. And the one game that he came back, it was in a limited capacity. So to have him back healthy, he's been great. This summer and during the off season, he's put on weight. He's physically much stronger. Just clocked him in his 40 yesterday. He's running pretty fast. So we're looking for big things for him, and just really, to be honest, glad that he can be healthy and help us on both sides of the ball, really.
And when you look at other impact players, on the offensive side of the ball, you look at Athens, obviously you got Piggott, but there has to be that one can't be, that one player, it takes a full team. So talk about some other impact players besides Nathan that can make some noise this year for the Red Hawks.
We have several returners. Kanan Hanbury's coming back, as our running back. Grayson Conrad, Jeremiah Thomas. We're going to be stout up front. Will Goetz is back. We've got Macklin Churla, who's going to be in the mix a little bit more. He came up and played corner for us last year as a sophomore, but he'll be in the mix offensively. We've got several playmakers coming back. Like you said, Kanan is going to be a 4-year starter for us, and so we're looking for big things from a lot of those guys. And I think that's what our switching up offensive schemes is going to really help do is highlight some of the talent that we have offensively.
And then, of course, the one position that's going to have a big change from with the offensively is the quarterback spot. So, describe the quarterback situation, how it's going on over there at Athens with the changeover.
We have, Andrew Dunlap, who started for us last year at quarterback. He's working this summer to earn that spot. He's in competition with Jack Boren, and those two guys are really getting after each other here this summer, pushing each other to get better. So we'll see how that works out. But we do have like a strong senior leader coming back at that position. In the quarterback room for us, and I think we're going to have good leadership there, regardless of who wins that spot.
And then let's look at the defense. Obviously, you look at this defense. I know last few years, this defense, a lot of that last year with the offense. Defense was on the field a lot last year. So when you look at this, what's your expectations for this defense coming into the season?
We have a lot of starters coming back. Like you said, Macklin is a sophomore. He's coming back at corner. We've got we're returning Nathan Piggott. He's going to play a lot of safety for us. Jeremiah Thomas got a lot of minutes last year. He's going to be playing some safety, and Grayson Conrad will be in the mix over there too. We've got a lot of talented kids coming up that are going to be juniors, like Brian Pierce. Brady Osman, and many more, in that defensive secondary. Up front, we're returning like our nose guard. We're returning a defensive end. We're missing several linebackers, and so we're looking at some of the young guys, like not missing, but like we lost several senior linebackers, and so like we're looking at some of the young guys to help step up and be able to fill some spots there at the linebacker position. But overall, our defense should be, pretty stout. We're expecting that, we're smart. We talk. A good defense is a loud defense, and so we've got kids that like communicate, and I think we'll be pretty stout defensively this year.
I think when I look at you guys this year, you kind of remind me of the Detroit Tigers from last year. And, last season, this team really struggled, but they somehow turned it around and made the playoffs. I think you guys are more than capable of having that type of season this year when you look at you guys on paper, especially with the experience you have coming back. Is that a good analogy to describe you guys?
If you want to compare us to a team like in any sport that, is current, has one of the best records in their professional sport, like I appreciate that. We do have high expectations for this year. I've been with this group for a long time, ever since before they were like here at Athens, and we've had high expectations for this group, and due to injury and a few other things, like things haven't panned out exactly how we planned, like up until now, but things seem to be coming together, and so yes, we are very hopeful, but that's not lost on the kids either, that they have to work for everything that they want. And so we're putting in a lot of work this summer, and we're looking forward to seeing it pay off for us in the fall.
And I know a lot this year, the goals obviously getting to the playoffs, and I know a lot of those kids haven't experienced being in the postseason. So I know that's one of the goals that has to be mentioned in your locker room and with the kids is getting to the playoffs, for the first time, since 2011. I know that I don't count the pandemic year, but, I know that goal's been on the kids' mind.
Yeah. I was on that 2011 staff, when we went to the playoffs. There's a lot of similarities between this group and that group. High-level skill positions, really tough interior play. And so, yeah, like this is something that the kids have been thinking about since day one, since they came here to Athens, this senior group in particular. And so, it's been on their mind. They're hungry for it. It's our biggest goal, right? Our goals, right? Win our division, right? And make the playoffs and make some noise in the playoffs. So, those are their goals, and like based on how hard they work and how much they want it, I wouldn't doubt that they like achieve what they've set out to do.
And
we're looking forward to big things.
And let's look at that schedule you guys got. I mean, like, obviously, you guys are in the blue this year. You guys are 17 division. You guys break down your schedule for me and what you guys what that schedule brings in your eyes.
Well, we're focused right now on Seaholm. Like we open with Seaholm week 1. That's our focus. We haven't fared well against them the past few years, and so we're looking to come into week 1 disciplined and understanding our roles, both offensively and defensively, right, to get that job done. Overall, like I said, I don't like to look ahead too much, but overall, we do have some tough opponents this year. We've our crossover is tough again, like it always is. You
guys got Oxford on there. Yep, you got.
Yep. And so we're we know that it doesn't get any easier for us from last year, but like you said, we're looking forward to that challenge overall with a tougher schedule coming up for us.
And when you look at that week 1 matchup with Seaholm, having to go against Sevier, I know, when you look at, comparisons with Seaholm, Adams comes to mind when you look at the Sevier offense. Obviously, that's going to be a really interesting matchup week 1. Usually that week 1 game always, especially if it's a divisional game, that tells a lot to how your season's going to look. You know what I mean? You look at that week 1 matchup, very interesting matchup of different styles going up against a Seaholm team, that runs that veer,
Yeah, no, we look forward to it every year. We look forward to this matchup. Like you said, it hasn't panned out for us the past couple of years, but we do like getting them week 1. The veer, as anybody will tell you, the veer is difficult to prepare for. And so, we appreciate kind of having, our opponent that we get the most time for is week 1. And so we like that we get them week 1. It gives us a little bit more time to prepare because they're a very good program over there. Year in and year out, they're going to put several wins up in the win column, and they're well coached. I know some of the coaches over there, and they're a well coached team every year, and they're going to come out and hit you. So anytime you get a chance to have just a little extra time to prepare for a team like that, it's a good thing.
Let's talk about the rivalry with Troy. I mean, obviously, your city rival. I know, that's always been very interesting in the community. Talk about the rivalry with Troy. I mean, in your eyes, what does that bring out in the students and also in the Troy Athens community?
I think it's a great rivalry. I think Coach Frazier does a really nice job over there. It's a fun week, where that's, obviously that's the one, as when we get there, it's the only thing on our mind. And, it's one that the kids always want to, perform well, right, and hopefully come away with a win. They've gotten us, the past few, and so, but it's always a great game. It brings the whole city, kind of together. It's our best environment, on Friday nights, throughout the season. And yeah, we're looking forward to that a little ways down the road. Like I said, we're focused on Seaholm right now, but that's always a fun matchup. And like I said, the coaches over there, they do a great job getting their kids prepared and really maintaining a good, healthy rivalry between the two schools.
And when you look at the division, obviously, you're focused on Seaholm, but, you also got to deal with Oak Park is in there. You got to deal with Bloomfield Hills. Has got a new coach and Scott Merchant taking over. You got Farmington and North Farmington. Both those teams are solid teams. Both schools are leaving the league for the Lakes Valley next season. When you look at and then of course you have Troy in there. So when you look at this division, in your eyes, I know you're focused on week 1, but any team on that schedule that I know that, in the division that, that you see could have a really good year, you know what I mean, besides you guys?
Yeah, I think it's open. I think there's going to be several good teams. I know that we played really close games with Oak Park, Bloomfield Hills, and North Farmington all last year, right? And I know that we ended up, only getting one out of those 3 close games. So, but like you said, like they're competitive. That's what I like about our division. Like most of the games that you see, like are competitive scores and they're tight games. So, they're good programs in our division, right? And strong programs that and the teams that you just rattled off, like they're well coached. And so, we look forward to like all of our division games. We have, one of the toughest divisions, like in the state. And I get like that, we're talking about the blue division in the OAA, but like comparatively, right, to other conferences throughout the state, like it's still like highly competitive football. So, we're looking forward to a few more close games. And like I said at the beginning, like just doing a better job trying to close out some of those games and pull out the win, this year compared to last year.
And let's look at program strength. I mean, obviously, you look at this team. I mean, like, obviously, you got to look at the sub-varsity programs and the middle school programs, youth levels. Talk about your youth level programs, your middle school program. Talk about the and also talk about the freshman JV programs.
Yeah, we have some new freshman coaches this year. Coach Keenan and Coach Lisk coming in. They've been around in different programs like around the area, but coming back home this year to coach our freshmen. So we're looking for good results from them. Our middle school programs are continuing to build up. Coach Tolan, Coach Koskinen, Coach Hayes over there at Larson have increased the numbers. Numbers are up at both Larson and Baker. The numbers are the 2 feeder schools coming to Athens in for the most part. We do get kids from Smith and every now and then Bolin as well, but the main 2 schools are Larson and Baker, and Coach Latore and Coach Hosbeck over there at Baker do a nice job bringing kids in as well. So our numbers are improving. Our numbers football's growing in Troy, and so that's always a good thing for the health of our football program here at Athens.
Let's talk about the numbers. I mean, like in the freshman JV program. I mean, how many players you got right now? You know what I mean, like within the program and both freshman JVs.
Yeah, our numbers are staying pretty consistent. We're expecting a healthy freshman team again this year. We're expecting a JV team as well. But this is for the last, this will be our 4th year now that we have freshman and JV football, freshman and JV football, at Athens, and that's something that we didn't have for the 6 years or so prior to that. So, so we've got healthy numbers. We're pleased with the growth of our program, and we're just happy to have kids experience football here at Athens.
Talk about, of course, the impact of your principal, Vernon Burden. Obviously, what he's meant to the community of Troy Athens, and obviously, he's a football guy himself. So, talk about the impact of what Mr. Burden has done for your program.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. It's nice to have an administrator that really, looks to try to get, people on staff that are able to help, give a great experience to our student body even after, the school day ends. So, he's cognizant of how important that time is. Like our school day ends at 2:08, and he knows what it means. To be able to have somebody that helps out after 2:08. He's fantastic when it comes to trying to build our coaching staffs and people that are good for kids here at Athens. He's present during practices, which is fantastic. He's supportive during games. Our players are lucky to have him. Lucky to have the support that he brings to not just football. Football, obviously, he's a football guy, like you said, and I know that that's near and dear to his heart. But all sports here at Athens, he really is an advocate for for athletics and what they mean to young people here in Troy.
I've noticed some changes over at Athens. I noticed that you guys got a new practice field. I know you guys got some upgrades over at Athens. So talk about the upgrades, the facilities over at Athens.
Yeah, we're really excited about the bond that was passed that's really given a facelift to a lot of the athletic fields that we have here. Our Ox Field is fantastic, especially during the summer here where our stadium right now is torn up. The track is being redone. I coach track in the spring, so I'm not opposed to a brand new track going in. But it does leave our our main football field unusable during the summer. But luckily we have wonderful facilities here. As I'm talking to you, I'm looking out at where our baseball field is being redone. It's just a mountain of dirt right now. But luckily for us, we have a supportive community, and we have wonderful facilities for us to use during the summer, even though we're redoing everything. And then we're looking, we're really excited for what our stadium is going to look like coming this fall. Like I said, should get a new facelift. Last year, we got a new turf that looks fantastic. We have a new scoreboard. We're our football players and staff are just very grateful that our community supports us the way that they do.
And you also got a new logo over there at Troy Athens too. I really like the new Red Hawk logo. I think it's a really, really good, clean look over there. I really love the Athens Red Hawk logo over there.
Yeah, we've Coach Hugh, our athletic director over here at Athens, has really done a real nice job. With the new logos, we have the and just the whole new branding for us. I think the Hawk head is and the new A are logos that are going to stick around. We went through quite a time there where all the different sports programs had different logos. They had a different A or a different Hawk head, and I do like that. Now we seem like one athletic community here at Athens. And I do think it's sharp as well. I don't know if you saw the new helmets last year, but we went with the oversized logo on the helmet, and I think it looks sharp, and the kids really like it. They've really taken to these new logos as well. So, and I do think that it has encouraged like I said, just a feeling of Athens athletics and just a pride in that logo. And they're proud to wear it around. So I do like it. Like I said, all the credit goes to Coach Hugh on that one. Todd Hugh, our athletic director, because he did a really nice job through that vetting process of picking a new logo and everything. And he's really started to turn it out, and it looks great. So we're really pleased.
Talk about the uniforms. Obviously, we talked about the helmet, the gold helmet. The traditional at Athens has always been at home. It's been the gold helmet, the red top, the gold or red pants, and then on the road, all white look. I mean, that's one of the best looks. I really like that look. So, any changes to the uniforms at all this upcoming season for you guys?
Our home uniform is going to be changed a little bit. Instead of the gold on the bottom, and we've gone through several uniforms too. Like since I've been here, even before, like as an assistant coach, like we went through like a gunmetal gray phase and all sorts of stuff. This year, and I think this uniform that we got this year is going to be like the traditional uniform that you see from Athens here on out. But we're going red on red. We've got like the gold stripes down the side of the pants.
Okay.
With all home uniforms this year. But like you said, like the white on white is something that's always looked clean. The kids really like our away, like white on white. And so like we're going to stick with that with just with a red stripe down the side, and the offsetting color for the belt. So the kids like it. Like they were consulted on what they thought looked sharp, but just with the understanding that like this is what we're going to stick with from here on out. So yeah, get ready for a new look this year. With our new uniforms coming out this fall.
As long as the helmet stays gold, we're fine. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it.
Yep. We did switch to the matte gold. I think it looks really sharp. It matches the uniform a little bit better than the gloss. So, but it is, yeah, that helmet's staying gold as long as I'm around.
I love that one. That's going to get an A in my book. Anyway, Before I let you go, Coach, what is your expectations this year for Troy Athens football this upcoming season?
We're going to play hard-nosed football. Right. We're going to do the two things that win football games. We're going to focus on blocking and tackling. And if we can block better and tackle better than the other team, chances are we're going to come out with a victory. So, we're going to focus on doing the little things right. And playing with high intensity and like I said, and our hope is to see several more in the win column this year for us.
Troy Athens football coach Tom Cook, thank you for calling in this week on the podcast. We can't wait to see you at Media Day to see how everything's been progressing over at Troy Athens.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Sammy. I appreciate it. Every year you do a great job.
I appreciate it. Take care.
Yep, you too. Bye.
So that was Troy Athens coach Tom Cook here, talking about the Red Hawks. When you look at the Red Hawks this year, and I think, they're more than capable of having a very good year. They're more than capable. I mean, there's just a lot of questions, though, with Troy Athens is can they overcome it? Can they finish games? Can they close games? That's the big question that I have with Troy Athens this year. Is can they finish? Because you look at that division, that looks winnable, and Troy Athens has a veteran team coming back. So that's going to be something to really keep an eye on, and I'm really curious to see how this changeover from, what the new offensive coordinator is going to be. I'm very curious to see what type of change he's going to bring into the fold. What is he going to bring? And I think this is going to be interesting to see how Troy Athens does, especially when you look at the schedule being toughened up. I think the non-conference is going to be interesting. I think if Athens they could be reminds me of the Detroit Tigers. They could. They're more than capable of. I mean, they remind me a little bit of the Detroit Tigers from the 24 season. So I think it'll be very interesting to see what Coach Cook has coming back. I think this is going to be really interesting to see what where Athens stands when you look at the division. It's really wide open when you look at teams like Bloomfield Hills in there, North in there, Farmington's in there, Oak Park, Seaholm. I mean, it's really anybody's division to take, and that's going to be where I see with Troy Athens is where do they stand up in this division? Where do they stand up? That is the big, big question for them going forward. So I'd like to thank Coach Tom Cook for calling in on this week here on the podcast. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk to Clarkston Wolves football coach Justin Pintar here on the podcast. Welcome back to OAA Now. Here I'm Sammy Tureen here. We got the coach of the Wolves, Coach Justin Pintar here calling in this week. Coach, thank you for calling in this week. I know you've had a busy schedule.
No problem. Anytime, Sammy.
Let's look at last year. Recap last year when you look at Clarkston. This was a team that, played a tough schedule. You had a big win against Lake Orion last year, but ran a really good Rochester Adams team. Talk about last year in your eyes.
Yeah, so like you said, it was a tough schedule. We knew coming into the year, obviously the OAA Red is going to be a grind, every single year. And then our non-conference games, we're opening up with Belleville and we're ending with Eisenhower. So we knew it was going to be a challenging schedule, but I've always felt like that gets us ready for the postseason. And in terms of the way the year went, there was certainly some ups and downs. That's probably the biggest thing is maybe we could have been a little bit more consistent in our play, but we were playing really good football, I thought, at the end of the year. And then we ran into Adams again, and they had our number for sure last year. So it was a disappointing finish because I think the team was playing really well at the end of the season. To go out and lose is one thing, but to lose the way we did was certainly not a great feeling, especially for the seniors that don't get another opportunity. But I don't think that takes away from that was a really good year for us.
And when you look at the returners this year, you found yourself a quarterback in Alex Wachensko. He had an incredible year. Talk about the development of Mr. Wachensko.
Yeah, so Alex had a great year for us, and he came into a difficult spot, being kind of thrown in there when he was, and being a sophomore, not having the varsity experience at all at that point was certainly difficult. But he handles himself really well. He's got great composure. He's a great competitor, which, anytime you have a kid who likes to compete, that makes a big difference because that guy's going to go down swinging, and you always feel good when you got a guy like that. In terms of his development, I think from last year to this year, the amount of zip that he has on the football, his ability to move his feet and throw on the run, all of those things have gotten much, much better, and he was already good at moving and throwing on the run last year, but I think that's a strength of his right now.
Talk about, of course, the twins. You got the Bowman twins back for their senior year. Obviously, we know how good both twins are, so talk about how they've been doing this offseason.
Yeah, they're the twins, right? So they're in their fourth year playing varsity football. So these guys they've been around. They know our system. Again, talk about guys that like to compete. Those guys are ultra competitive, and they give you everything they have, which is something that we always appreciate, right? When the games are going, you never have to question whether or not those guys are going to give you 100%. So having those guys in their fourth year, they, like I said, they know our system in and out. They have the ability now to not just go out there and play, but they can coach the other guys around them. So it's a nice luxury to have them back for one more year.
Talk about your pass catchers, obviously. Any impact players that OAA Nation needs to know about coming into the year?
Pass catchers, is that what you said?
Yeah, pass catcher, like wide receivers.
Yeah, we feel really good about our skill guys and what we have. Hank Hornug is a kid who's got excellent size for the position, and he's got great speed as well. He's a third-year guy for us, too, on varsity, and he got some time last year, and I think, again, his development is going to be a key to our pass game. Same goes for Colton Williams, another really dynamic, explosive athlete. Cam Love is in that same boat. We got a number of guys that we feel pretty good about going and catching the football, and our tight end position, we're going to be a little bit I don't know if I'd say undersized. We just don't have the 6'5", 6'6" guys like we had with Brody Cozen and that a couple years ago. But we feel good about our tight ends as well. So we have quite a few guys that we can spread the football around to. The twins can get out there a little bit and catch some passes. And so we got, I think that's one of the things that'll make us tough to defend on offense is there's not one guy that you can key on. There's going to be multiple. And Wendell Childs is another one I forgot to mention. He's a kid that over the summer at some of the camps picked up some D1 offers. So, we feel really good about throwing the ball to, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys and letting them go and create in space.
And then talk about, obviously, some of the biggest concerns I have a little bit coming in there for Clarkston. The lines, obviously, you do have Hayden Flavin coming back. Talk about both sides of the ball, the offensive line and the defensive line.
Yeah, offensive line, we have 3 starters coming back, which is going to be key for us. So Zach Radlick is a second-year starter and a third-year varsity guy for us, and his frame's starting to really fill out. I think he's probably up to about 275. Our center, Bodie Santamore, isn't the biggest guy on our line. He's probably about 235, 240, but he's just a phenomenal kid, and he just does all the right things. And then we're gonna have to fill in our right guard and our right tackle spot, but we got some seniors that we like that are coming back that I think can fill in that role. One of which was kind of like our 6th man last year. So whenever we had a guy go down, whether it was guard, center, tackle, Kyle Emilio was the guy that we kind of sent in there. So we're really bringing back 4 of our top 6 from last year. So we feel pretty good. We don't, we might not have, a significant amount of depth, but we do feel good about the guys that we have coming back. And then on the defensive side of the ball, we'll be, again, maybe a little bit undersized, but we got guys that are good athletes and can compete and I think can create some problems and stuff. And that's just kind of how we have to be on defense is, our skill guys are really strong. Our linebackers are going to be really good. And we got a lot of experience back at the linebacker spot. So I think it's just going to be trying to create havoc up front. It's not going to be put a bunch of 300-pound linemen in there and just stuff holes. It's going to be go in there and, like I said, create havoc and make plays. And
when you look at the linebackers in the secondary, any impact players in there? I mean, like that can make some noise?
Yeah, so again, the twins will be a key part of our defense on that side of the football. But we got, like I said, we got a number of guys that are skill position guys that we also like. Trey Setter's a kid that played a lot for us last year at linebacker. Tyson Scott played for us a lot at linebacker. Brody Denver's a kid who all of a sudden it looks like he's grown about 4 inches and added some really good strength in the weight room. And he's going to be kind of in the mix there. Our secondary, we're going to have, we have a couple athletes. Mick Mahaffey has a good chance of playing at safety for us and is a really good athlete. We got several guys in our back, like on our back half that are very good athletes and have played a lot. Like either played a good amount last year, some of them started. So we feel pretty good about that side of the football. Cam Love will be a guy back at safety that's got a chance to be an impact player for us. So, I think we're going to have to kind of play a little bit and get a little bit of experience for some of them, but we feel good about the athletes that we have in the back half of our defense.
And then let's look at the schedule. I mean, like, it's almost the same as last year. You guys add Harper Woods to the mix for that crossover. You guys open up the year week 1 at Wayne State against Belleville. So talk about, going up against a proven Tigers team, but they won't have their quarterback anymore in Bryce Underwood.
Yeah. So Obviously, they lost some key pieces, and then losing Bryce is a major difference, I think, for their offense. But they're still very talented. They still have several guys that are Division I athletes, and it's going to be a great test for us, I think, coming out and opening up against them right away at Wayne State. And then, and then we go right after that, we go play Harper Woods, and I think Harper Woods is going to be as talented a team, certainly in terms of their athletes, as we'll see all season. I don't know that we'll see a more athletic team at wide receiver than what they can offer. So I think the first couple of weeks will be a really good test and get us ready for our OAA Red schedule following that.
And that's not even mentioning the Red, which is, I call that division the kiss of death. I mean, there's no days off in that division.
No, never is, never has been, and which is good. I like it that way. I'd rather be practicing during the week, knowing that we got to have a good week of practice. Otherwise, we could get beat, and I think that keeps guys on their toes a little bit instead of having games where guys maybe can relax a little bit, and it's just kind of human nature when you don't have that threat. I think sometimes guys back off, unfortunately, but in this league, that's just not the case. And because that's not the case, I think that just keeps you getting better week after week, and then that starts to pay off when you get into week 10, if you can get there. And then that's the hard part, too, is getting to week 10.
Let's talk program strength. Obviously, when you look at program strength, Clarkston, we know the community comes out for football. You see a lot of kids come out, especially in the youth levels. Talk about, the middle school program, the youth programs, and also the JV and freshman programs.
Yeah, we've been really fortunate here. And this goes back obviously to when KR was coach, and he built this thing and got it to where it's at. And fortunately, we've been able to kind of maintain that at our lower levels. But our numbers across the board are very good. Our varsity, we're looking at 80 plus kids this year, which is actually up from last year quite a bit. We should be in the 40s to 50s at the JV and freshman level, and then we won't know until a little bit later on 7th and 8th grade, but we've been pretty consistently around 70 or so at those levels, at each of those levels. And the other part that's really helped us a lot is our coaching staff. We have guys that want to be involved, they want to be part of the program, and we don't have a lot of turnover. I mean, if we have turnover, it's usually circumstances that are typically out of their hands, and they just can't do it anymore for some reason. But I think we've only had to replace 2 or 3 coaches all through our 7 through 12 program, and that continuity, and then again having the numbers of kids and stuff like that has been something that certainly is key to our success, and we want to make sure that we continue.
Talk about the importance of, obviously, I know we talked about this last year, but the importance of Dan Fife to your life, and also the importance of KR to as well.
Yeah, both. So when I first got hired in here, I actually got hired, it was like end of September, early October, and the assistant principal who had just been hired, and I was taking his spot, introduced me to Coach Fife. On one of my first days here, and I just sat with him and talked, and he asked me if I'd be interested in coaching 7th grade basketball, so I got involved with that right away. And then the following year, KR had asked me if I would get involved and start coaching 7th grade football, and to walk into a situation where I always knew I wanted to coach. I just got extremely lucky getting hired at Clarkston when I did. The job market was awful at that time, and to have this kind of fall into my lap, and to have 2 Hall of Fame coaches, and Coach Fife and Coach KR, it was pretty remarkable. So just extremely fortunate that those guys were around, and I think the thing that both of those guys did is they set a standard, and they held everybody to it, whether that was the players or the assistant coaches. Those guys set a standard, and that standard that they set, it's something that They made sure everybody was going to meet, and I think both guys did a phenomenal job throughout their careers of getting everything that they possibly could out of kids. If you look at the Clarkston basketball teams and the Clarkston football teams that we've had, there's many games that if you just looked at the two teams on paper, they wouldn't match up, but yet Clarkston was able to compete. And again, I think that's what those two guys were able to do. That was kind of a legacy, I think, that they both left.
And then let's talk the impact of the community. Obviously, Clarkston's a big community. Talk about how the impact community supported you guys.
Yeah, this community has always been behind its sports, and I think that's something that's certainly special. And I grew up in the UP where you just had one school, and everybody kind of gravitated towards that school and the sports. And then I got down here, and I didn't realize how that would be different when you get into kind of the suburban areas, and especially as you get into the places that have multiple different schools, you start to lose that. And Clarkston's been able to, by just having one school, a lot like Lake Orion, has been able to maintain that kind of small town feel, even though we're a big school in this area. So we're extremely lucky. Again, this is something that just kind of fell into my lap, ending up at Clarkston, but I'm really glad that I'm in a one-school town where everybody is a part of it, and Friday nights are a big deal, and when we have some of our games here, we're going to have thousands of people, and those stands will be packed, and there's not much better than a Friday night when the stands are packed and we're playing a big rivalry game.
Talk about the uniforms. I mean, like, you guys changed uniforms last year. I mean, like, and I gave like some just bad reviews about your uniforms last year. I mean, I love the Michigan helmet that you guys have, but you guys went back to the yellow and blue pants on the road. I mean, you guys had a really clean look with the white on white last year during the Belleville game, and then you guys went to that new uniform. I'm going like, what are you doing here? I mean, like, so what's your thoughts on the uniforms at Clarkston?
Well, with the navy and the gold, the idea was that they could kind of pick and choose and mix and match a little bit. So you could go blue and white, you could go white and gold. You could mix and match how you wanted to do that a little bit. Same thing with the blues. So that was part of it. And then there was always the idea that down the road, that could be a way that you do something a little bit different. Is add the whites eventually, and then you could go back to like a white and white look, but just something a little different, try to mix it up and have a different look.
All right, before I let you go, Coach, what is your expectation this year for Clarkston football?
Yeah, I mean, our expectations has always been we want to go out there, and we talked about this at the beginning of the year, we want to go win the league. That's number one goal, and once you win the league, that means you're getting into the playoffs, and then let's go out there and win a district and win a regional and get back to Ford Field and hopefully win a state championship. So our expectations are always that, and I don't want to have it any other way. And that certainly isn't to say that we think that it's going to be easy and that we're just going to be able to do it. But when we step on the field and play Belleville, we want these guys thinking that this is the first step towards getting to Ford Field, and if that's not the case, then it's not the case. But that's going to be our goal every time we step on that field, is to go out there, win the OAA Red, win a district, win a regional, and get to Ford Field and win a state championship.
Clarkston coach Justin Pintar, thank you for joining us this week here on the podcast. I will see you at Media Day to see how you guys are progressing.
All right, take care, Sammy.
God bless, Coach.
Take care.
That was Clarkston coach Justin Pintar here. Clarkston, they're going to be scary this year, so we'll see what happens. I think they're going to be a very, very interesting group this year to keep an eye on. Defense, as I mentioned, I still got some concerns with this group, but I think this could be a really good football team, so we'll see what happens with Clarkston. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk to Berkley coach Casey Humes here on the podcast. All right, welcome back to OAA Now here. I'm Sammy Termina here. We got the coach of the Berkley Bears, Coach Casey Humes. Coach, thank you for calling in this week.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
When you look at last year for Berkley, recap last year going through the transition periods and everything that Berkley had to go through under first year under you?
First year under me, there was a lot of transition. You know, we got a whole new coaching staff, and me myself as a first year head coach, I was kind of learning my ways, just kind of being the main guy in charge, and you know, hiring staff and getting guys around the players who invoke the culture that we're trying to build here at Berkeley. X's and O's wise, we had a small senior class, and we had a lot of juniors that were asked to come up to varsity and play a lot of minutes. It didn't work out as well as I anticipated, but everything is, you know, always about getting better. So with those, you know, same juniors who were asked to play a lot last year, they're going to be asked to play a bigger role, you know, their senior year this year. And I'm hoping that we can find some success and kind of build on the things that we were doing last year.
Talk about, of course, year one to year two. Of course, everybody looks at that big transition leap. When you look at this team, last year you kind of had some ups and downs, but what are the, you know, you look at the impact players that Berkley has this year. Talk about some impact players that the Bears are, going to have this season.
This season we're going to have the four guys who've been playing varsity since they were sophomores. Eli Corey, he plays linebacker and running back for us. Alan Richardson, he plays tackle and nose tackle for us. Jack Rittenberry, he plays guard and defensive tackle for us as well. And then Ben Bullock, our middle linebacker, and our utility player on offense. He has a few offensive positions that he plays, so he's our utility on offense. We're going to lean heavily on those guys, but also with having a big senior class with 16 plus guys, I'm hoping that we can lean heavily on this senior class to be able to set the tone for not only the program, but for the future of the program as well.
Talk about some impact players besides those four that OAA Nation needs to know about heading into this season.
Okay, another player that you guys should be on the watch for is Lucas Strand. He's our slot running back and defensive back specialist. The kid's been working his tail off since his junior year, and you know, he was able to get out on the track this year and kind of get his numbers up, or get his numbers down, so to say, to kind of just improve on the things that, you know, he was able to do for us last year. He was our offensive player of the year last year. Had the most defensive interceptions and was third in our defense and tackles. So he's a guy that we're looking to have another great year, hopefully a breakout senior season for him. Another kid that we're looking to see some decent output from is a kid named Anthony Brackle. Anthony played for us last year, as his first year as a football player, but he was a soccer player before, who comes in, you know, 6'3", 280 pounds. So we're hoping that with him being a little more agile and on the heavier athletic side, we can kind of get him out in front of some guys, and he can open some holes for us on that offensive line.
And then when you let's look at the schedule. You look at, of course, you guys are in the gold this year. This division's had a lot of turnover when it comes to new coaches. There's new coaches new coach at Avondale and Ferndale. So talk about, you know, when you look at this division looks like this could be yours for the taking when you look at this division.
Yes, but I don't want to go into the season with that mindset. I look at it as this is because everyone is fairly new, the league is wide open. Just because guys don't really know what to expect and who to expect what from, I expect the teams that are in our league to be super competitive. We are going to be super competitive as well. If we are expected to be the favorite, that just puts another, you know, target on our back where we have to, you know, rise up and answer the call. I'm hoping we continue, you know, the good work that we've had over the summer so far, and that bleeds into positive success coming into the schedule.
And when we look at that schedule, you guys got to play Jackson Northwest. You got to make that trip to Jackson. I did watch that game last year on the internet. Talk about having to play Jackson Northwest for your non-conference.
I will say it like I said to our guys last year. Jackson is a no-nonsense football team. They came out last year against us, and they ran the ball, and they pounded it down our throat. And at the time, we didn't have a response for it. But they play a hard-nosed type of football. I know that they have a young guy that was on their JV last year. I think he's going to be on their varsity this year that can kind of swing it a little bit. So they may open up the offense from that T that they like to run. They may open it up a little bit because they got a pass thrower over there now. So that game of Jackson is really just about being able to fill holes, wrap responsibly, and get guys taken to the ground. We've seen the team when we played Troy Athens. We've seen the team when we played Lakeview. So it isn't anything that the guys are unfamiliar with. It's just about honing in on the things that we can do as a team, tackling, wrapping, getting to the ball, that can kind of mitigate some of those big games that we see on offense, giving up big runs and things.
I do want to also talk to you about the rivalry with Royal Oak. Obviously, we talked last year about the rivalry. I know you got back the trophy last year, so talk about, that rivalry with Royal Oak, and I know that draws like that fire in you.
Yeah, the rivalry with Royal Oak is a long-standing one. Last year we were able to pull out the victory and get the sign back from those guys. This year we're looking to have a repeat performance. The kids that we have in this senior class have only lost to Royal Oak once, and they were sophomores on junior varsity. So I think that being able to win the title or win the sign back from them last year, kind of, let the seniors of this year know that, it's their job to keep it in-house. I think that Royal Oak has scheduled us their homecoming game.
Yeah.
So that's an added piece, fuel to the fire that, some of the guys have already mentioned that we're their homecoming game. So I think that this year it'll be lights, camera, and action, to be honest with you.
And then also,
they'll have a big crowd, and then we'll come in with a lot of fire. And just because it's a rivalry game, you just know it's going to be played tough.
And then also that rivalry with Ferndale. I mean, obviously, Ferndale being really close by as well. So talk about that rivalry with Ferndale as well.
Ferndale is Ferndale. And I say that because I feel like a lot of the years with them is hit or miss. Some years we are good enough, and we kind of pull their number, and then other years, they have ours. And even in the game last year and losing by 10 to those guys, I think that we played that game very tough. I think in the last 3 minutes we were down 7 after giving up the safety and a couple turnovers in the game. So Ferndale is one of those rivals too that you tip your hat to every year, and you kind of got to truly game plan and be ready to go out and play those guys. They play with a fire and an intensity too that is, I think, only matched by a couple teams in our league. So I think that every time we get a chance to line up against them with guys that are ready to go out and compete, it's always going to be a good match. And I think this year will be the same.
And they got a new coach as well too. So, obviously, so that'll be really interesting when you guys see them in a couple of weeks. Sure. Yep. So that'll be interesting to see. So let's talk program strength. Obviously, you look at program strength with Berkley. Obviously, talk about the middle school program. Talk about the the freshman JV programs, and talk about the youth programs for me.
Okay. So right now, our middle school program, we're hiring new staff. We had some teachers that was working with the middle school. They resigned, so it opened up a couple of the middle school jobs that we have available. Our youth team is the Berkley Steelers. Those guys compete in the ONYFA. Last year, we made it to the championship game. We didn't win, unfortunately, but to be able to compete and battle all year and get to that final stage of the season, it just it shows that we have guys that are willing to work hard and compete moving up into the high school. So I'm really excited about the program and about the kids that they have coming out this year on our youth league. And we're just hoping that they have sustained success. So then when those guys come up to high school, we can keep the ball rolling. Berkley right now doesn't have a freshman team. So we put our freshmen and sophomores on junior varsity. And our junior varsity is going to be very competitive this year. We got a lot of players, a lot of guys that are coming in ready to work. Guys that are leaders in this younger class that are going to help continue to push the message and the program and create and curate the culture that we're trying to create here of hard work and dedication and putting on your hard hat and just going out and get it. So I think that our future from our young guys is very bright. My head coach, Victor Edge over here, he's doing a great job getting our young guys ready to play and come up to varsity. And they're gonna be must-see TV to watch this year as well.
And talk about obviously the community impact. Obviously, you just got a new field at Hurley Field. You got new. Talk about the impact of the new field at Hurley and the community aspect of Berkley.
Yes, the new field at Berkley is a part of a $90 million project that the city of Berkley has invested in the athletics. We're building a facility indoors as well across the street from the high school for indoor practices for our soccer teams, for our lacrosse teams, for our football teams. And what I think that it has done for the city is it's created a new exciting field for not only just football, for sports period. A lot of our football players get out and they donate their time and do things within the community. So I think that that's a good thing for us, that people within the community can see our kids out being active. Even as football players, they're pouring back into the city. And I think with that, the city kind of pours back into them, accepting the $90 million city fund to recreate our practice field and update our game field. I think it's made it exciting for the students as well on Friday nights to come and be on a new field and be able to see our team kind of be competitive on a new field. Our indoor facility will be built at the October of 2026. So it's just really working through the practices on the games field and then the games, and then we'll be able to fully move into the new facility for practices and kind of keep the field fresh for the games.
I'm very curious to see how you guys do that. You guys do a traditional walk from because I know Berkley High School and Anderson Middle School are really close by. And I know you guys do that. You guys do that. Do you guys do like that sort of like a tunnel walk down Catalpa?
Yes, sir. And the city lines the field for us, and we get our police escort, kind of similar to how they do it at Michigan State. Mm-hmm. So the guys walk from the facility to the field, and they get the escort. They walk as a team together. We kind of give them that same feel with the school and our game field being less than a half a mile from one another. That's just something that we've created here to kind of also add and bring that community feel to it as well.
I really love that tradition. That's one of the best traditions I like, is when you guys do that, when you walk the high school to Anderson to Hurley. That is one of the best traditions. Thank you. I mean, so I got to talk to you about this now. I got to talk uniforms. I mean, we talked about this last year about that. What scared me was you thought about putting a white helmet in there. So talk about your uniforms. I mean, any changes to them at all?
Some slight changes. Given that we are in a current contract with Nike, we aren't permitted to change our jerseys just yet. Okay. So we'll still have the regular blue jersey and the white jersey with the white and blue stripings on each. Yep. My hope is to be able to get a new jersey that features all three of our colors, the maroon, the blue, and the white. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what I did this year, what we'll do this year, is we went to a blue helmet.
Yes, I like it.
The Bronco navy blue helmet to kind of match the blue in the jerseys. And then we also will feature
blue pants this year.
Ooh, blue pants. I like that. All blue look.
Some days we'll go all white. Some days we'll go white tops with the blue bottoms. Other games we can go all blue. Other games we can go blue with the white bottoms.
I like that.
So once we are able to roll in that maroon and get maroon more into the main concept of the jersey, then we'll be able to see more maroon funneled in as far as pants, socks, belts, things of that nature.
I like that. I like that look. It's classic Berkley. I really like the blue look. You know what I mean? The blue helmet. It's classic. You know what I mean? I really like it. All right. Before I let you go, Coach, what is your expectations this year for Berkley football?
My expectations for Berkley football is obviously to improve from where we were last year. My expectations for the guys are high, so honestly, I expect to win the league. I think that that's something that our seniors have as their goal. You know, none of them have been able to say that they are league title champions in the OAA Gold. So I think for my own self and for the seniors, I think that's a great goal. If not winning the league, our ultimate goal is to be able to make it into the playoffs. Our achieving goals would be to have our first 2 games in the playoffs at Hurley. So we kind of got them staggered in the realistic goals, you know, a little harder to attain, and then ones that we're really going to have to push the pedal to the floor to attain.
Okay, I'm Berkley coach. Oh, sorry. Berkley
coach. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Berkley coach Chris Humes. Thank you for calling in this week. I wish you best of luck, and I will see you at Media Day.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You have a good day.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that was Coach Casey Humes of the Bears here. I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, Berkley, they could be a very dangerous team this year, and I think they could be a team that is they could be very dangerous this year. I have them as a sleeper in the division this year, so we'll see what happens going forward. All right, everybody, that's signing off here. I'd like to thank our 3 coaches for calling in this week here on the podcast. Make sure you follow the blog at soundbite4650@blogspot.com for the latest information around the OA. Take care, God bless, and I will see you all next week. Take care, God bless, and see you all next week. God bless.